Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Trina here with a new video for you. Welcome to part 4 of What If Deku Was Given the Six Paths Power? I just wanted to greet you guys by just saying sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. So we begin. Springtime had arrived and a new semester of classes was about to commence. Izuku was finally going to start his first year at UA High. He had been told that only 36 students had passed this year and that these had been split into two classes, Class 1A and Class 1B. Izuku would be part of the former, and he couldn't be happier. Uraraka and Bakugo had also been placed there, so in reality, this was a dream come true in more ways than one. Ever since the entrance exams, he had kept in contact with both of them, especially Uraraka, which strengthened their friendship. Bakugo wasn't as aggressive to him either, so that was a plus. Just a bit more, and they could perhaps reach a level similar to what they once had when they were very young, before Bakugo's quirk manifestation. So with his hopes up high, he left for school, but not before being told that he looked really cool by his mother. This made a genuine smile appear on his face, and not long after, he left his home. UA High School was quite the big school, accommodating many students from 3 different grades and even more courses. The hero course was where Izuku was enrolled. Still, more departments did involve direct hero training, such as the general education course, the support course, and the management course. Indeed, the best selection a school could have, this most likely correlates to it being the #1 rated hero school in all of Japan. Midoriya reached the 1A classroom, and in front of him, he met an enormous door, probably being an inclusive design. He took a deep breath and then opened it. His first impression wasn't that good either. The glasses student from the entrance exam was now in a profound argument against Bakugo. The blonde had his legs on top of his desk, and the glasses guy considered this the most disrespectful act any student could ever commit. Their discussion continued to devolve as it went on, but thanks to it, Izuku learned that the one with the glasses was called Tenya Ida, but that was quickly followed by Ida approaching Midoriya, who had just closed the classroom door.
Hello, I'm Tenya Ida from Somei Junior High,
the boy said as he proposed a handshake.
Izuku Midoriya, and it's nice to meet you, Ida,
he replied and accepted the handshake.
I was blind to it all. My judgment was way off course that day. I can't believe I doubted your motives, you now being the record holder for most points obtained during the UA High School entrance exams and all. I hate to admit it, but you were the better man here, and for all I did on that day, I apologize,
Ida said as he bowed his head to the young green-haired boy in front of him. Izuku laughed it off and placed his hand on the back of his head.
No need to apologize, Ida. I understand why you doubted my intentions. I wasn't exactly at my best that day.
Deku!
Was heard behind them, making them all turn their heads.
Uraraka!
Izuku exclaimed as he ran to meet her. They embraced in a hug, Uraraka using her quirk on him to spin him in midair. A few seconds later, she released her quirk.
I can't believe that we are finally here! Do you think that the entrance ceremony will be today? Or will it be guidance counselor stuff today? I can't wait! I'm so anxious, you know?
Uraraka continued and continued. She was excited about everything going on at the moment.
Same! There's just so much to process, but I can't wait to meet our homeroom teacher. Maybe there'll be someone very experienced, a well-known pro hero,
Deku added as both he and Uraraka could barely remain still.
If you're gonna be all lovey-dovey, then do it elsewhere. This is a department of heroics,
someone said from below, his voice sounding quite intimidating. Everyone looked down, and a yellow sleeping bag was on the floor. Within it, a man with an unkempt look resided. He had long black hair and messy facial hair, but the most prominent feature was his bloodshot eyes, so dry and dead. They all remained quiet as he got out of the sleeping bag. Quite the shocking event to have happened on their first day. He gave them all a stare that seemed to be of someone that didn't care much, if at all.
It took you all 8 seconds to quiet down. Life is short, kids, yet you're all lacking something so necessary as common sense.
The teacher commented on seeing if anyone in the classroom would react.
So this must be your sensei. I've never seen or heard of him before.
I'm your homeroom teacher, Shota Aizawa. Pleasure to meeting you.
Homeroom teacher?
Out of his yellow sleeping bag, he pulled out a blue and white uniform, and then he shoved it in front of Midoriya's face.
Put these on immediately, and then shove off to the PE grounds,
he commanded, and everyone did as they were told. Soon after, they were all at the PE grounds, and Aizawa announced that they all would be taking the quirk apprehension test. The entrance ceremony and the guidance counselor meeting could all be skipped as a hero didn't have time for such frilly niceties. Many tests would be conducted today, 8 to be exact. But before all that, something needed to be proven with the quick softball pitching. Aizawa asked Bakugo to start it off, so he did with a massive explosion. After the boy threw the ball, Aizawa pulled out a smartphone, and its screen showed how many meters the ball had traveled. In this case, it displayed the number 836.4 followed by the letter M for meters. Most students consider this a fun game, so they all cheered, which pissed Aizawa off.
Fun, you say? So you were planning to spend your 3 years here having a good old time. What happened to becoming heroes? All right then, in that case, I'll establish a new rule. The student who ranks last in total points will be judged as hopeless and be instantly expelled.
Most of the students became excited, taking it as a challenge, while some got scared as they could lose it all. For Izuku, though, it was going to be a way to see how he compared to everyone here, and that made him smile. Honey is a free browser add-on available on Google, Opera, Firefox, Safari. If it's a browser, it has Honey. Honey automatically saves you money when you check out on sites like Amazon, Papa John's, and Kohl's. Wherever you shop, it's a good chance that Honey can save you money. All you have to do when you're checking out at these stores is to click that little orange button, and it will scan the entire internet and find discount codes for you. If there is a coupon code, they will find it, and if there's not a coupon code, you can rest assured that you are getting the best price possible. If you install Honey right now, you can save like $50 to $100 on your shopping, doing nothing. There's literally no reason not to install Honey. It takes 2 clicks, 10 million people use it, 100,000 5-star reviews. Unless you hate money, you should install Honey. A while later, all 8 trials had concluded, and the score placement was projected for everyone to see.
Huh, so I wasn't first? I can still improve!
The young green-haired boy cheered to himself. The top 5 scores were Momo Yayorozu, Izuku Midoriya, Katsuki Bakugo, Shoto Todoroki, and Tenya Ida. As for last place on that list, this was Minoru Mineta. Suddenly, Aizawa turned off the score projector and gave a weird smile. This freaked out everyone, as it couldn't have looked more unnatural if he had tried.
Oh yeah, the whole expulsion thing was a lie. It was a logical ruse to pull out your best performances.
The quirk apprehension test ended, and the students were allowed to continue their day. By the time they got out, Izuku, Uraraka, and Ida were together. Midoriya felt great. He had made another friend in Ida. He had passed the test with a top 5 score, and he had also had fun. More days were to come, and he would look out for them gleefully. On that night, at the top of a high-rise building, a very tall man with a black mask stood. He had quite the fancy suit. His physique was broad and muscular. He wasn't alone either. Beside him, a short, older man with glasses also stood, looking at the city beneath.
Any further information about All Might's boy?
The towering figure asked.
Not much. The informant wasn't able to gather much from today's test. If anything, the boy appears to be above all prior simulated scales.
The old man answered his master.
I see. What about the duplicate? Is it near completion? Yes. In just a few short days, it will be completed. Are you still planning on giving it to him? Tomura will be my successor, Dr. Garaki. As so, he must inherit my power to bring despair upon this world. The boy All Might has taken under him has shown me that my plan needed to be set in motion before my once expected time, but nonetheless, he will be shaped to be the symbol of fear,
the tall man added, his words sounding quite genuine.
As you wish, All for One, but may I propose something?
The older man eagerly asked.
You may do so,
All for One said.
Young Shigaraki is not yet worthy of succeeding you. At least that's what I believe. So how about we put him to the test? Every year, the first-year students at UA go out to one of the many hero facilities across the nation. This usually tends to happen within the first month of their first period. So, how about we send young Shigaraki there to deal with the students? He'll be able to prove himself there while also encountering All Might's successor. All will fall into place if I'm permitted to go at it,
Dr. Garaki proposed, awaiting his master's following words patiently.
Your proposed idea is to my liking, Doctor, but you must realize that All Might will most likely be within the same enclosure as his students. Even if I believe in Tomura, that doesn't mean I willingly send him to do something that'll get him detained. I will approve of your plan, but I will be present alongside him on that day. Furthermore, I will need as many Nomus as you can provide by that date. As you wish. Your desire is my command. I will provide all the specimens available once the informant gives us a signal.
This dark night had just become pitch black, a bad omen for things to come. The next day had come and gone quite fast for young Izuku Midoriya. But once the afternoon arrived, he was excited to see who his foundational hero studies teacher was.
It's me!
All Might announced as he made his grand entrance. He was wearing his Silver Age suit today.
You came!
Midoriya cheered.
I arrived through the door like a normal person. Ha 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 ha!
He continued as the joke didn't land upon the students. All Might then explained to them that this class was built upon many trials, but right now it was time for a battle trial. All the students cheered and switched to their custom-made suits that they had ordered. This was also true for Izuku, as he had sent his request with schematics for one. This suit was quite sturdy and more combat-ready in appearance than his usual wear. It included black shoulder pads and knee pads that extended to his legs, reaching up to his thighs. He also sported black gloves that were decorated with green stripes. In terms of its color scheme, it was a dark shade of green with black outlines. All these specifications were made so he would look cool when the 6 paths mode was activated, while also being practical as a hero suit that granted excellent impact protection. No matter what, though, he still sported the classic red boots that he had always had. Just that now they had been upgraded with added iron soles to increase the power of his kicks, but also to make it a possibility to kick his truth-seeking orbs if needed. Now he truly looked like a hero. With all the students in front of him, All Might explained the trial that would be taking place. Everyone would be split into 2-person teams, and they then would be designated as either heroes or villains. Then the villains would guard a nuclear core, while the heroes would try to stop their nefarious schemes. If the heroes captured the villains or touched the nuclear core before time ran out, they would win. Otherwise, if the villains captured the heroes or prevented the heroes from making contact with the core within the given time, then they would win. Every team was then chosen through a box lottery, going from the letter A to the letter J. Almost as if the whole thing was rigged, Izuku and Uraraka had turned out to be the first team to be created, Team A. Seeing this, they exchanged a high five. They had this in the bag for sure. All Might announced as he pulled both letters out of the box.
And the first 2 pairs to combat will be Pair A as heroes versus Pair D as villains.
Izuku looked back to confirm, and indeed it was so. Team D consisted of Bakugo and Ida. He became a little tense. He had just become friends with Ida, and now he had to go against him. It just felt wrong. As for Bakugo, he knew that it could be a great match if he had improved since last time. If his change of temper and attitude were any way to measure it, then he would surely be able to eradicate even All Might now. So the villains were allowed first into the building to prepare, and a few minutes later, the heroes would be allowed to enter. The heroes had also been given a detailed map of the inner layout of this building. Deku and Uraraka prepared themselves, and once authorized, they stormed the building. Corridor by corridor, step by step, they both quietly traversed as no encounter had occurred. Izuku knew that if it were Bakugo from way back, he would have already jumped at him to beat him up, but the current Bakugo didn't seem to think that way anymore. Up above on the highest floor, the villain team awaited.
So, your gig is going fast, ain't it, Four Eyes? Just that?
Asked Bakugo as he was trying to formulate a perfect strategy to beat Deku.
Indeed,
Ida answered.
My quirk engine allows me to gain incredible speed while also granting me even greater kicking strength.
Bakugo placed his hand on his chin as he thought about how to proceed. He knew that Deku was his to deal with, but the girl would most likely be the one to look out for, her quirk being the most unpredictable. Protecting the warhead until the time limit was reached was the best option.
Listen up, he then shouted. You will follow my orders to the teeth, you got that? Any mistake could lead to our defeat, so I need you to work with me. Otherwise, we will lose to that damn nerd Deku and his little girlfriend. So just follow me and be an obedient underling. Understood,
Ida replied, a bit uncertain that he could follow the orders of such a foul guy.
Great, now here's the plan.
A few floors below, Izuku and Uraraka had formulated their plan, and as they had noticed, it seemed like all of Team D was up at the highest floor protecting the weapon. The time was slowly ticking, so they decided to get there immediately. But once they entered the room and saw the warhead, they couldn't react to Bakugo being boosted by Ida as he was thrown their way at an incredible speed.
Stun grenade!
Bakugo screamed as he let his attack loose, blinding Team A. Ah! Deku cried out as he was blown away by one of Bakugo's explosions.
Four Eyes, the girl! Got it. I'll pulverize her.
Izuku had crashed onto the wall, and he was finally starting to get his vision back. But the first thing he saw was Kacchan's leg, and it was too late to react. Bakugo kicked Deku up, and just as he was going to follow it up with a proper swing, Midoriya transformed.
Took you long enough,
Bakugo commented as he jumped back.
That was a great tactic, Kacchan. I'm impressed.
Izuku admitted. Never in a million years would he expect him to team up with someone else.
Sip it! We will win! You're not getting past me this time! As a villain, I will crush you, Deku!
The battle then commenced between the two. Once more, Bakugo launched himself at Izuku with consecutive explosions. Seeing this, Deku jumped to meet him, exchanging blows in midair. They kept at it until Bakugo landed a hit and sent Midoriya to the floor. Without hesitation, Bakugo quickly disengaged his grenade cannon and pointed it toward his rival beneath. But the green-haired boy wasn't done yet.
Six paths, spike shield!
He shouted as 7 orbs formed a big spiky shield on top of his right arm. He quickly countered the grenade gauntlet by hitting it upwards, causing the blast to go upwards and destroy a good section of the roof above. Most of it had been blown away, but some parts fell while the surrounding structure began to crumble.
Uraraka, now!
Izuku shouted, giving her the signal to start Plan C.
Got it!
She jumped and touched all the falling debris alongside the crumbling roof with her fingertips, and it all began to float. Bakugo and Ida could only look up in shock at the massive amount of projectiles she had gathered in those few short seconds.
Take this!
Uraraka then shouted as she released her quirk. There was no way that Bakugo could defend the weapon from that on such short notice. There wasn't even enough time to counter, but there was something he could do.
Four Eyes, the weapon! I got it!
Ida responded as he grabbed the warhead and began to run away with it. Bakugo then grabbed Deku and threw him up to serve as a shield from the now falling debris.
And while that goes,
He shot himself towards the girl in a spinning motion. Izuku took the complete debris directly and was buried beneath it. But he quickly repelled it all forward with some of his energy. And that's when he saw it. Kacchan was about to hit Uraraka with a tornado move that had never been seen before.
Six paths, magnified speed!
He screamed as he poured a huge amount into his legs. With a quick jump that destroyed the floor where he once was, Izuku reached Uraraka and pulled her into a hug.
Six paths, encompassing spear!
He said as all 9 orbs combined to form a vast truth-seeking orb that consumed both members of Team A.
How's it our impact?
The resounding scream shook the entire building. Bakugo's attack collided with the spear and launched it out of the building and into the streets below. It crashed and formed a crater in its place. The colossal spear then dissolved, and both teens fell into the hole that had just been made.
You alright?
Izuku asked as he helped her get up.
Of course! Nice save!
She responded with a thumbs up.
Come on, we can still make it! There's still... Time's up! The villains win!
All Might announced. His voice resounded through all the speakers nearby.
We lost?
The remaining groups did their trials, and soon after, everyone completed them. Classes for the day had ended, and the kids were going home.
I'm sorry, Deku. If I had reacted to Bakugo's upcoming attack, we could have won. I'm sorry.
The girl cried out as she felt like she genuinely had failed her friend.
It's okay. He played us well. He knew that I would protect you from that attack. The time for us to win was running out too, and I'm sure that he was well aware of that. Team D beat us fair and square. Their plan was more elaborate than ours. But don't worry, next time we'll show them that we're the perfect team.
Both teams fist bumped, and then they were met with Team D. Ida and Bakugo were still together.
Midoriya, Uraraka, I asked for forgiveness for playing such a vile role back there. My villain side took over.
Ida exclaimed as he bowed his head.
Don't be! You were so earnest that I almost died of inner laughter.
The girl said as she patted him on the back with a bit of force.
Yo, Deku,
the blonde boy let out.
You did well as a hero. It was a satisfying match, and a damn good one at that.
Oh, thanks. I enjoyed it too, he replied, smiling. This felt nice. Those four continued chatting for quite a while until they went on their merry ways. The next day, the school was flooded with the press interested in any info they could gather from the symbol of peace. Because of their constant bickering, UA entered into lockdown mode. Its barrier had been activated. Meanwhile, in Class 1A, a vote had been made, and a student president had been assigned. Young Izuku Midoriya, with 5 votes, had been chosen to lead the class. By his side as the vice president, we had Momo Yaoyorozu with 2 votes. Ida didn't take this well, as he had not only proposed the voting system, but he also felt like he had the skills to be a leader in this class. He had come from a family of heroes as well, so even more of a reason to be the class president. Suddenly, the school siren was activated. A level 3 security breach had occurred, and all students were told to evacuate immediately. Chaos ensued as most students flooded the school corridors trying to escape. But Ida noticed that only the press had trespassed, so he had to tell everyone. With a combination of Uraraka's help in the form of her quirk float alongside his engine boost, he was able to crash into the wall above the door entrance. He was standing on top of the exit sign. Ida then explained the situation to everyone, and this made them all calm down. Later on, in class, he was made the class president as Izuku knew that he would be a better fit for that role. Emergency Ida then assumed the position and proudly made it known to all within the classroom. What the students didn't know was that the back door to the school had been destroyed in an unusual way. The school higher-ups thought this action to be a declaration of war. The following day, Class 1A went on a field trip to the USJ Center. Here, they would partake in a rescue exercise with the supervision of Aizawa, All Might, and the space hero 13. Before they began, though, 13 explained her quirk and how dangerous it could be if it were used carelessly. But as she finished her lecture, many dark portals appeared across all of USJ. Out of them all, the one that got the most significant attention was the one up front, on the fountain down the entrance stairs. Out of it stepped a young man with messy grayish-blue hair and a hand that obscured most of his face. Many other villains also came out, but then a tall man in a suit stood beside him.
All for one!
All Might shouted, taking his yellow suit jacket right off.
All Might, are you willing to kill me again?
All for One replied as he caught the symbol of peace's strike with both hands.
I will do what I must, All for One.
The two colossals clashed. The fight of peace against fear once more commenced. It had been 6 long years since it had last concluded. They had launched away from everyone else, so Class 1A were now faced with all the villains below. Aizawa told everyone to stay back as he went on to fight all those villains at once. The mostly unknown hero, Eraserhead, was about to show why he was so feared by those who had been cursed across his sight. Thank you all for indulging yourselves in all this information thus far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, I'd like to thank our patrons. BD Flames, Ethan Davis, Terry Chill, Shifter Melees, Adams Agile, Zill, ZabBeat03, and Joshua Phelps. Secondly, I also like to thank all of our YouTube members, Toya Costa, Rob the King, Sith Lord 906, CF2364, Ed Knuckles, Rimueu Tempest, Angel Juarez, Donald T. Stewart, Bryant Greer, and Demonized Fox. Thirdly, if you're in the mood for some great storytelling, We the Celestials has got you covered. Our We the Celestials, My Hero Academia, and Naruto What If channels retell the story of their namesake anime with a twist. Check it out if you're interested. Fourthly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in today's excellent content production. Their details can be found in the description below. Lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at We the Celestials, I'd like to extend an invitation to join the team. The only caveat is that we only accept members from 16 years old to join our crew. You can sign up for whichever category fulfills your interest by joining the recruitment Discord using the link in the description below. We're always looking for members to join us. Well, that's it from us for today's video. So thank you all for watching and have a great day. Bye!